What is going on, everybody? It's lunchtime. It's lunch with the Clydesdale. What is going on? Man, I had a rough night's sleep last night, so I'm still trying to wake up. It is noon. I've had 3 cups of coffee. I'm trying to get ready to finish out my day. Jeez. What is up, Sarah? Good to see you in the chat. Hope we get some more people in here. There's Jody Lynn. Little lunchtime. Yeah, super stoked. So let's get the dart throw out of the way. Horse off today, man, and that really hurt. My shoulders are still hurting from Murph on Monday, but hopefully that, oh man, hopefully that loosens up in a day or two. What is up, Larry? What's going on, man? Fun. I am all over the map today with like stuff to talk about. It's kind of like slow news day as we gear up for the weekend. And I just was trying to put something together today. So I have like a big old smorgasbord of stuff. I don't know if any of it will be something we can dive more into or what, but Aaron Fraser said I should start the show with a lift. That means I'd have to move my equipment to the basement to do that. Or move my podcast to the garage. One or the other. But yeah. But that'd be fun. It'd be fun. So anyway, it's been a wild week, right? We had a good show on Sunday night. We had a lot of comments on the show, and then we put out that reel about did Mayhem program everything, fact or fiction? That has gotten a lot of comments. It's gotten more comments. It's got a lot of comments, a ton of comments. But anyway, in my YouTube comments, I have a guy, because we started the show off talking about the grid league and John and Lauren, my friend Lauren Olson and John competing in the grid league, and that we watched that. And a guy commented, "What, are you on the payroll of the grid league?" We've talked about the grid league one time to open up the show on Sunday night, and now people are accusing me of being on the payroll for the grid league. Man, people need to get a life. Like, what the hell? 5 minutes talking about the grid league in 1,200 episodes, and now I'm on their payroll. So crazy. But yeah, the reel we put out, I hope it pays well. Yeah, not so much. Jody, like right now, we're currently running no sponsors, no anything. We do all this free. Looking for some sponsors, but right now we are running everything free. So anyway, yeah, I thought that was really funny. Aaron Fraser, but we are accepting money. We'll take it. And Jamie, yeah, let's see the money. I know she's with me. The numbers we are putting up on the Sunday night show are getting so good and so much better that I'm hoping that we can maybe make an agreement with a sponsor too. Our click-through rates are higher than I've ever seen. And like looking at stats where they say what's good, what's great, and we're like exceeding all of that. So it's really about the engagement from those shows that is like through the roof. So proud of that. So proud of Jamie and Carolyn and everybody for making all that work. But yeah, it is killing it. Denise Moore, some people just need to be contrary. Well, we had some fun over the last couple of days. We put up the reel with really, I asked the question, did Mayhem program everything in the CrossFit Games season? Carolyn responded with a fact and then made some comments, and I cut that into a reel. I put it up on Instagram, and there are some very staunch defenders of Mayhem, which we have responded to in kind. Nothing like obscene or vehement or anything like that, but somehow the people that have responded, like other camps have responded, other camps have put their likes on it. Man, these allergies are killing me. So anyway, we got into a discussion last night with J.R. Howe because one person said, well, Syndicate wasn't Mayhem programmed. And we made the comment that they used Angelo to test. So therefore, someone at Mayhem still was involved. And then JR reached out to Carolyn. JR responded in the comments. We kind of explained how he got involved in this. But it's just been a crazy freaking week with everything. So, but yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. So, again, this is just going to be a smattering of everything. So what we're going to talk about first is, what are you looking forward to the most this weekend? I think Sarah put it up here that we have 4. Who's excited for Syndicate? Busy weekend of comps to watch. What are you looking forward to this weekend? I think there's some really good storylines. If you look, we found out Barbell Spin posted today, all 4 semifinals are being streamed. So you'll be able to watch any and all of them on YouTube channels. The Syndicate Crown is on the Sevon podcast channel. Far East Throwdown is on their own YouTube channel. Torian Pro on their own YouTube channel. And Renegade Rebel Games have their own YouTube channel. So all 4 events will have streamed events this weekend. So if you are into watching CrossFit, you will have your choice of all of them. And I'll be tuned into as much of it as I can get. The storylines I think that are out there are Syndicate are the Well sisters going to punch their ticket to the games? I hate that phrase, punch their ticket to the games, but are they going to qualify for the CrossFit Games? Brooke and Sydney are both competing at Syndicate. They have yet to get a ticket to the CrossFit Games. And will they qualify this weekend? And my prediction is no. I think the best female athlete at the Syndicate Crown is Caroline Stanley. I think she is going to take one of them. And then it is going to be a dogfight between Lexi Neely, Shelby Neal, and the Well sisters. So I think that's going to be a tough qualification to garner, because I do think Caroline Stanley's kind of distancing herself clear and above everybody else. And if it wasn't for a weird angle camera and a penalty in the semifinal, she would be going to the games already. But there's that. In addition to that, we have, I think the men's storyline is, can Seth Stovall clear the hurdle to get his first qualification to the CrossFit Games? You have some veterans there. Like Spencer Panchek, Royce Dunn. No, Royce is in Torian. Trying to get there. You have Ty Jenkins, the rookie-ish. So anyway, I really think it's kind of a year that Seth can make the jump. And is he going to do that? Is he going to overtake Luke Parker? People like that to get his first qualification to the games. Thoughts on athletes not eligible, already qualified, mixing up in these semis? We have talked about it a lot on both this show and the Sunday night show. Do not like it. Do not like it. Either you're part of the season or you're not. Because you're taking points away at different, whether you could be just a home run hitter and it's not a good thing. And you're taking away points at different elements based on your abilities to the field. And it's making it a cluster. It's harder to explain to friends what the season looks like. And so you're either in or you're out. And that's not what's happening. So I don't like it. I don't like that Guy is going to Torian and he's going to mess up that leaderboard. I don't like that Ricky and Jay Crouch are competing. There's a good chance that the top three at Torian on both the men's and women's side don't go to the games. So then you're giving qualifying spots to 4 and 5 or 5 and 6. And how then do you explain that to people? It's really hard. Plus it's muddied waters and trying to figure out who's who. But my storyline at Torian is Tia going to retire? Will we get a definitive answer from her this weekend when it's all over? Eric says, agree, CrossFit is a sport I love, but I hate all the mess. I hate the fact that we cannot explain the season easily. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Dense updates. Yeah, not a fan of that either. So, Aaron says, no, she's not retiring. She's trolling. I am leaning in that direction. I do believe that is what she's going to do. She's going to win. She's going to accept her qualification. But I hope we get a definitive answer at the end of this. Aaron Fraser, it's another easy win for Tia at the games. At some point, it's not going to be easy. Yes, she's been dominant for 7 years, but that's a long time. That's a long time. That's a lot of abuse on the body. And at some point, it's got to catch up with her. Now, it may not be this year, but who knows? Sarah Cooper says if she gets her ticket, she should go to the games. Free money. Amen, Meredith. I just don't see why we need her to troll. What benefit is there for her? You're the greatest CrossFit athlete we have ever seen. Why you're playing these games makes no sense to me, but it happens all the time. I mean, there was a time in the 90s where every boxer retired after every match, and then they came back 5 more times. Brett Favre retired over and over and over again. Michael Jordan retired and came back twice. And they're greats in the sport. I don't know why they do it. It makes no sense. I hate it. And then the Rebel Renegade games, we have Sarah Sigmundsdottir competing. I think that is the storyline. This is her best last shot at making the CrossFit Games one last time. And I would say she's the favorite there. But I haven't seen her compete in a while. And so I think that's a pretty big storyline. Will she qualify for the CrossFit Games one last time? And I hope so. I love Sarah Sigmundsdottir. I want to see her back at the games one last time. I hope if she makes it that she's able to train and give a good effort. And we don't see a super diminished athlete at the games, but I think this is it. I think it's either this year or she's never going back again. She'll qualify. She loves the attention, but will a 5th place at the games tarnish her legacy, in her opinion? I think if she goes to the games, it's not 5th. She'll still podium, and she'll probably win. But I'm just saying at some point in her career, it's going to catch up. I hope she makes it back, but it's always something with Sarah recently. I agree. Denise Moore, they want attention and understanding when they retire for real. They will no longer get the attention they crave. So those are the storylines this week. Again, we can watch all of them. They're all streaming on YouTube. Again, Syndicate Crown will be on the Sevon podcast YouTube channel, and all the others will be on their event channels. So you can tune into all of those this weekend and see all the storylines. I didn't forget about the Far East. I just don't know enough about it and the competitors there to really know what the only storyline I could even think of for them is they did open it up to the world. It is not a regional based competition at the Far East. So you have some semifinal athletes from other regions there trying to compete. And I think the storyline is who qualifies, a native to Asia or someone who has come in from one of the other regions to try to get a ticket. Sarah Cooper says Dwan Young. I think Sahir Kaya probably gets the women's spot, even with the competition from around the world. But on the men's side, I have no idea. And if you remember, like 4 of the top 5 finishers last year in Asia all tested positive, so they're all gone. Sung Young Choi will probably win, but has already qualified. Correct. And so you thought Sahir was out? I don't think so. I don't know. Did she do the open? We can look real quick. Barbell spin gets us the answer. Sahir was barely inside the top 1%. So she is in, and so she's good. So that's what we got going on this weekend. Again, and if you need links to all those, Barbell Spins in the chat. He's also the one that put out the information this morning of where you can go to see all of the events. And he has all the links to the leaderboards and to the events on his YouTube channel, to their YouTube channels on the Barbell Spin. So you can go to the barbellspin.com and get all of that information. So there's that. I just got done watching Coaching Anikha from the TTT people, Corpus Animus. It's really an interesting look into the relationship between a coach and an athlete, and why Max took her on, what it's been like with her and the close qualifications, and to finally get to qualify this year to the CrossFit Games, how tough that's been. And it really, it's really going to be, it's a really interesting look in that Max himself has been a victim of his own negative self-talk, according to this interview. He would beat himself up all the time. when he was competing, either when it was in mixed martial arts or even doing CrossFit stuff. And because of all of the near misses of Anikha, she had a lot of negative self-talk, and they've had to really work on that together over time. And he attributed a lot of getting out of that to Noah and his positivity. But they talk about her running ability. They talk about what they've been trying to do to overcome the running ability. How much time do you spend on it if you're only going to make minimal net gains over time? And so all of that is really cool if you're into like how a coach is thinking about working on things. How much of a percentage of time do you spend on it? Is it worth it on the leaderboard in the end to spend more time on it? I know Carolyn has told us over and over again that she's not a great swimmer, and she could up her swimming training. But at the end of the day, if she ups her swimming training, she may move from 35th to 33rd. And is that worth the effort and time she puts into that, as opposed to other elements where she could get better by 4 or 5 spots? That's not necessarily as bad a weakness. So I know Carolyn feels very strongly about that, and it was interesting to hear Max talk about it very similarly. Because he was saying her running ability, it's going to take three years minimal to build up to a level where she can actually do those types of things. So but it's really interesting. The other thing, he talked about the combined seasons, the WFP and the CrossFit Games season, and does Anikha have a priority? And he was talking about, because she is only 22 years old, that she actually has the volume capacity and the tolerance to be able to do both. Where older athletes like Noah and Travis may not have that ability to do both, because they cannot handle the volume and tolerate it like she can. So, Lito says she's already had 3 years and not improved, though. If you listen to this podcast, she has improved, but it's more of a mental thing than a physical thing. Aaron says, I think it depends on what your goals are. If you want to win the games, you cannot have a hole. Laura Horvat won the games and had a very big hole. She got lucky. Doug Reed says Noah's fake positive would be grating. You know, I used to not like Noah at all. And I still waver a little bit. And I actually told this to him and to his face. But then I got to talk to him a little bit more, and I actually like the guy. It's really hard once you start talking to him in person to not like him. And I was not ever a fan of Noah. And then I got to know him, and it really changed my mind. Train to Live, it's hard to say she hasn't improved when other athletes are probably improving too. So it can be the illusion she's not improving. Again, like if you have to watch the whole podcast, but like the problem she's having with running now is she gets down on herself during the run and she gives in rather than pushes through. And they're trying to teach her to, hey, can you pick people off ahead of you, or do you just give up and rest or do whatever? So it's hard to for me to then explain what Max was saying, but it's really it's about keeping her head up during even when things aren't going great during a run. It's like she has anxiety when she starts running because she knows it's her weakness, and then she lets things get to her when they're trying to overcome all of that stuff so that she can at least build up a few points by picking some people off in the run. Um, I don't know. It's hard. Running is tested way more than swimming ever is. Definitely a low priority. Yeah, I would agree with that. But her running issue is more on the endurance running side. She's okay at the sprints. That's it. You cannot feel sorry for yourself in the middle of a workout. And I think that's what the problem is. They also mentioned that depends on the comp. Is it worth the push for spots, or do you just finish and move on to the next event? They do. So really, they're in a place right now where they're just trying to manage the running. But he also said with the way the season is structured, there's not a lot of time to take a couple months to build a running base either. I'm with D Reed on this. I feel sorry for myself during the open when I realize how crappy I'm doing. Yeah. But I'm not one of the top 30 fitnessers in the world. She is. So there's that. I see some comments about going to Syndicate, keeping it real. I'm actually not coming this weekend. My wife is just not recovered enough for me to be able to head down. So Aaron Fraser, I made up the word. Yeah, I'm not able to get down. My wife, because this knee was her right leg, she cannot drive and she has to get to PT and things like that. And I have nobody to stay with her over the weekend. She cannot pivot on her ankle to be able to hit the gas and the brake. She has great flexion, like straight ahead, but she cannot flip her ankle side to side. She does not have that back yet. And so she cannot drive. And she was going to come with me, but it's too long to not have her leg elevated at this stage of her recovery. So it's a season of life I'm in. And I knew that coming into this year that I would not be able to get to as many events. So yeah, I just knew it was going to be a possibility this year. So I'm going to try to pick up some things in the fall. I will definitely be at both the games and the age group games. I'll be at Masters Fitness Collective. And then we'll see about the rest of the fall. But yeah, it's just too, and Meredith says, can she come with you? Too much exertion if she did that. The plan was to get a really nice hotel with a really nice pool and she could just kind of chill, but it's the 6-hour drive without being able to elevate her knee that would be the bad part of that. And the doctor recommended no. So there's that. Man, this is flying by. I didn't have anything. I was trying to make sure I had enough content. I watched the behind the scenes of TFX. If you haven't seen that, that was fun. The highlight for me was Adrian Conway and Bryson having a discussion about the lunge being a squat. I thought that was really interesting. And and they get into, is it okay during a season to not test an element like the squat at one event and just kind of say, we're not going to do it this time, but you're still going to have to win. And Adrian was like, I kind of like that, except that I do think it if it was the games, it had to be there, and it has to be there during other elements or other stages of the season. But that back and forth was really good. There's also a back and forth between Tudor's old coach and Taylor, where Tudor's old coach wants to know if they need to settle things out in the parking lot. Apparently, I don't know if he was joking or not, but it was a really interesting back and forth for sure. So, that was intense for sure. Tudor's old coach was an ass in a video, completely on brand. Jody, I'm listening to What's That About a Fight in the Parking Lot on the behind the scenes of TFX. Tudor Magda's ex-coach, I can't remember his name, or I would say it, approached Taylor, and apparently Taylor said some things about him, and he wanted to know if they wanted to settle it. And Taylor's asking him, how do you want to settle it? And it's a very uncomfortable conversation. If it was real or not, I don't know. But they put it in. Ed, thank you, Jenny. Ed. But it is a very, very tense conversation. And I don't know if there was anything after that. Maybe we'll find out if there's another episode to this. So, the rest of the stuff I have is just like goofy stuff. My wife and I watched America's Got Talent last night, and I learned that America is out of talent. There was not one act on that show that I would go see for free at the local high school auditorium. There was one singer that was pretty good, and other than that, it was a complete waste of time. Maybe all these stupid talent shows and singing shows, we have run out of all of the talent in America. Train to Live. I watched Nona's Because of You. So good. Cried like a baby. It's a really good movie. It's just a good feel good family movie. Really, really enjoyed it. Did you see Be Friendly almost lose it yesterday to Pool Boy? I did. I saw the clip. I have not seen the full episode. And I think it was in reference to Pool Boy saying that Savon was going to charge like $1.99 or something to see the Syndicate thing. Here's the deal, man. A lot of people do a lot of work around this space to entertain us for essentially free. I pay to go see movies, and I pay a lot of money to go see the movies. I pay for a lot of entertainment. And in the CrossFit space, you don't have to pay for much. It's just kind of given to you. When Savon puts out Behind the Scenes, That is entertaining to me. That is worth my budget to pay for a membership so that I can see the behind the scenes when it comes out. And I look at it as just part of my entertainment budget. If Savon and his team are going down to broadcast an event and I want to see that event and they need me to pay $2 or $3 to see the event or $20 to see the event, are you kidding me? That is the cheapest entertainment I could possibly get to watch the sport I love to watch. I pay the $25 to Rogue every year to get their alternate broadcast because I really, really enjoy it. And it's worth it in my entertainment budget. Why do we think that everything should be free just because it was given to us for so long? We're getting to a point where everybody's budgets are getting cut and maybe they need a little bit of help to be able to get somebody in there to do the job, to show us what we want to see. And if Savon charged me $1.99, I'd pay it gladly to see the Syndicate crown. I want to be there in person so badly, and I can't be this year. And if I can't be there in person, I want to see it, and I'm going to pay $1.99 to see it. It doesn't make sense to me that everybody gets up in arms about this kind of thing. You pay to go to the movies, you pay to go to a ball game, you pay to go to a football game. What is $2? $2 to see a stinking CrossFit event. All those people are there on their own dime, volunteering their time to broadcast all of that stuff, and they'd never, ever charge. And then they say, hey, let's make a little bit of money back to recoup some of the money we're putting into it, and everybody's up in arms. Preach Scott Preach. Dents, I paid $1.99 for the live stream, and I'm going to be there. Rogue can charge, but Savon can't. Not unreasonable at all. Well said, Scott. Happily pay. I don't understand why he was so enraged. So you want to professionalize the sport, but so many won't pony up a few bucks to help make it happen. Mayhem's coverage was well over 100K. If we need to pay to get that type of coverage, I'm in. People who do these things need to cover their costs. They can't do it for free all the time. Where was Brian enraged? I need to see the Brian tears. I believe they did. There was during a preview of all of the events this weekend. They did yesterday. Again, I have not watched the full episode. I have only watched, I saw a clip somewhere. We pay so we don't have Waza coverage. Lito says, I think most people would happily pay, to be honest. Lito, I'll be honest with you. There are a group apparently in this chat right now that would be willing to pay to watch any of these events. But I am telling you, there's going to be a group that are going to be pissed off that they have to pay anything to watch these events. It used to be that Wadapalooza was through a paywall. Now it was not cheap. It was not even Rogue $25 cheap. And they were getting hammered year after year after year for that. The problem is CrossFit has done it for free at a pretty high quality. Back in the regional days, all of that stuff was free, and people got spoiled. And now that times are tough and the belts are getting cinched around the CrossFit space and people don't have it in their budgets to pay for that production anymore, and they want to do a little bit about, and they want to ask for a little bit of money to help offset the cost of this, I think it's fair for them to do so. That's all. Aaron says, yes, ranking show for the events this weekend. It's around the 112.45 mark on Brian's last show. And Denise says it's not really that hard to pay through YouTube. It's not. Well, I had a bunch of goofy stuff. I'm not going to dive into all of that. I'll maybe save that for tomorrow in case nothing happens overnight in the CrossFit space. But I do have a 1:30 meeting, so I need to go prep for that. Sponsors should start ponying up to live stream coverage and pay the athletes less. The live coverage is where the views are. I do not disagree with you. Jody says, yes, goofy stuff, please. All right, I'll finish up with one goofy thing. I was thumbing through YouTube. My apologies. It is. I got to get through allergy season. I was thumbing through YouTube today, and I just found this interesting. I love Prince. He is one of my favorite musicians of all time. And apparently, there were 6 bands or artists that he hated. And they list who those are. So I'm going to tell you who they are. Just because it's cool when like musicians are petty. And I found it interesting because some of these people I do not like at all. And some of these people I love. And I love Prince. So I wanted to see who they were. Prince hated Michael Bolton. I think that's easy to see. His thought was that Michael Bolton took all the emotion out of every song, and he just made it very sterile and simple. Prince hated Madonna. Madonna and him were on the same label. The label tried to get them to do a duet. Prince refused to work with her. Thought she was talentless. He also hated Justin Timberlake because he thought that Justin Timberlake stole his sound, used his sound, was inspired by his sound, and never gave Prince credit for any of it. He also hated Maroon 5. He hated Maroon 5 because they remade Kiss and they trashed it. He said Kiss was a simple song and it was meant to be simple. And sometimes the spaces are more important than the sound. And they filled all the spaces. The next one was Black Eyed Peas. He didn't like them. He thought they were talentless and couldn't understand why anybody would listen to them. And finally, he hated Eric Clapton. He felt that Eric Clapton was a good technical guitar player, but nobody ever wanted to go dance to an Eric Clapton guitar riff. So those are the 6 artists that Prince hated. take with it what you will. I just found it interesting, something different, and something to think about during the day. But I love petty musicians, and I love Prince. So with that, TIL, Prince had outstanding musical sensibilities. Petty. The best artists are petty. Yeah, so his hated artists again were Michael Bolton, Madonna, Justin Timberlake, Maroon 5, Black Eyed Peas, and Eric Clapton. All pretty big names in the music business, and he hated them all. So, actually in the same channel there was, speaking of petty, Tom Petty's most hated guitar players, but I didn't watch that one yet. So with that, guys, I got to get back to work. I got a meeting coming up, and I got to get into dress clothes for that. So with that, I will see everybody next time, and you knuckleheads get back to work, and we'll see you tomorrow on lunch with the Clydesdale. Bye, guys.